Why do INFJs and INFPs struggle so much with being creative? This is a question I get asked all the time. I have worked with hundreds of INFJs and INFPs over 10 years, writers, artists, and other creative types of INFJs and INFPs. And so many of them have said to me, I know I'm creative, so why is it so hard for me to express it? Now, struggles with creativity for INFJs and INFPs tend to take two forms. Number one is the actual creative process feels hard. It is not enjoyable. It feels very stop and go, like it's going and then the brakes get slammed on, and then it's going and then the brakes get slammed on. So very stop and go. It can feel very frustrating when you're not making progress because you're in that stop and go pattern. A lot of INFJs and INFPs struggle with a very strong inner critic. So the moment they start writing, the moment they start creating something, that inner critic comes in and they hear these negative thought loops over and over again telling them, this is a waste, you're a failure, there's no point to this, why are you doing this? There's also a problem with not being able to flow with the creative process or constantly reworking things. I had one INFJ writer tell me, I'll write a little bit, I read it, I hate everything I wrote, I'll delete it, I'll write it again, I'll read it, I hate it, I delete it, and on and on and on. So it's very difficult for me to write even 200 words or 500 words. Obviously, writing is not very fun when you're writing a little bit, hating it, deleting it, going back, trying to change it, writing a little bit more, and doing this over and over again. So when you're in this kind of pattern, you really can't move forward with anything, and you feel like you can't make progress on anything. This is why the creative process feels so hard and so unenjoyable. Now, the other form that these struggles with creativity tend to take is fear. There's a lot of different fears that INFJs and INFPs have around creativity. There's a fear that it's too late to start. I hear this all the time. I'm too old. I've wasted too much of my life. Too many years have gone by. It's just too late to start. There's a fear that they don't have any talent. I hear this a lot from INFJs and INFPs. How do I know if I'm any good? I don't have the training. I don't have the skills to do this. I don't think I have any real talent. Fear that their ideas won't work out, they won't be successful, their idea isn't good enough, or it's been done before, or it's just not going to be exciting to other people. All of these struggles and fears do make sense if you're approaching creativity from a mainstream point of view. The mainstream sees creativity as an accomplishment, a measure of a person's worth, something that's used for gain, something that's used for status, and it's a way to prove oneself. So a lot of INFJs and INFPs who are struggling with creativity are sort of mired in these belief systems that creativity is an accomplishment. It's something I have to use to prove my worth in the world. Whether that's I have to prove to my parents that I was right to get an arts degree, or I have to prove to my employer that I actually am creative and I should be on the creative team at work, or I just want to prove to the world, my family, my friends, whatever, my social group, that I am doing something that has meaning. I am doing something that has substance. So I'm proving it to them in an outward manner. I'm using this for external approval. This makes creativity into an achievement, and then the actual experience is lost. It's not fun anymore. That's the main hallmark of this. When this has happened, it's not going to be fun anymore. Writing's not fun anymore. Painting's not fun anymore. Making anything isn't fun anymore. Transitioning from that phase where you have the good idea to making the idea a reality, that's not any fun. There's so much pressure on it that the project, the idea, the writing, whatever it is, it gets suffocated. It's like crushed underneath the weight of all this pressure that we're putting on it, of this has to help me prove myself, this has to be an achievement. So to shift this, we work with shifting our perspective on being creative. We learn ways of being creative that will align with our type of brain and our type of temperament. Because that's the thing with INFJs and INFPs. The achievement-oriented stuff for us sometimes works, but it only really works short term. So we can go into a new job and it can be very novel and very fun at first as we're learning the ropes and we're really feeling challenged and we're proving ourselves, and that can really stimulate us for a while. That can keep us going for a while. But if there is only external achievement to be had, if there is only external reward to be had in that job, and we actually don't care about the deeper meaning, that sense of satisfaction is not going to last very long. It will last 3 months, it might last 6 months, but there will come a point where the INFJ or the INFP will be very tired of the situation and not want to be there anymore. That's because we have a different type of brain. We have a different type of temperament. We are not rewarded by external rewards. External rewards don't mean very much to us, and they don't keep us satisfied for very long. So if we approach creativity in this way, where creativity is this achievement that is getting us an external reward, that's not going to satisfy us either. And that's not going to work with the way that we are creative, with our type of brain and our type of temperament. This is what I'm teaching in my new class. I'm launching a new class this month, February, called Creative Consciousness for INF Writers. That's INFJ writers, INFP writers. It doesn't have to be that you are an established writer. You can be someone who wants to write. You can be someone who just has an interest in writing. You might be journaling every day. That's it. You have no interest in writing a novel or a memoir. That's okay. This is all types of writing. And it's also INFJs and INFPs who know they are creative, and maybe they're not doing anything creative right now in their lives, but they would like to experiment with feeling into their creativity through the practice of writing. So if any of that describes you, this is going to be a very good class for you. We're going to be learning about how to transform our belief systems about writing and creativity to dissolve creative blocks and fully open our creative channels. That's what the class is all about. We're going to be really zeroing in on what's blocking us from moving forward with our creativity, what's blocking us from moving forward with writing, and what's blocking us from moving forward in life. This is actually a life class. This is not just a writing class. This is not just a class on creativity. This is a class on INFJ and INFP life, because for INFJs and INFPs, our creativity is completely intertwined with the way we see life, the way we live life, and our satisfaction level in life. The unhappiest INFJs and INFPs that I talk to are the INFJs and INFPs who feel cut off from their intuition, cut off from their creativity, and they can't find what they're supposed to be doing in life. That's where they feel very unhappy and very depressed and very anxious. So that's the type of stuff we're going to be covering in this new class. In my next video, to give you a taste of a little bit more of what we're going to be covering in the class, I'm going to be talking about why INFJs and INFPs overthink everything. I'll be talking about a few basic things that you must know about the way INFJs and INFPs, our brains, work to stop our own overthinking, and how we can stop blocking ourselves in our own lives. This is a very common thing for INFJs and INFPs. We tend to overthink every single decision, and it can really block us. It can really hold us back in life. So like I said, this new class, it's about writing and creativity, but it's also about life. So we're going to be learning a lot of this INFJ, INFP life stuff as well. If this is you, if this is resonating with you, if you're like, yeah, I definitely need this, please stay tuned for the next video, why INFJs and INFPs overthink everything. Please also subscribe to my channel, even if you can't make this class with us this time around. I do a lot of videos on intuition, creativity, being an intuitive person in a non-intuitive world, personality theory, all sorts of things that apply to INFJ and INFP people. So please subscribe to my channel if that is you, and please send questions. If you have any questions about the class, how long is it, how much does it cost, what's included, what are we going to be talking about, what's it going to look like, please email me, lauren@laurensapala.com. I would love to hear from you. I would love to get all of those questions answered. All right, I will see you for the next video in this series in just a day or two. Until then, stay tuned.